Hello, my name is Dionte Gill, and this is everything that I go through before I hit the stage. Now, first of all, before we even get into this, okay, before we get up in this gig, yes, I'm filming this in my closet. If I do include this footage, you're probably like, oh, why are you wearing glasses? Because I can. And also because I don't want y'all to see the tiredness and the stress in my eyes. Okay, why am I tired and stressed? Well, that's what this documentary is about to be about. So, let's get started. So, I started out just like dancing, and it took me a while to finally gather the courage to go on stage. And what I finally did, it just kind of all went uphill from there.
Here we go. Toss my bag, toss my bag. From the back. Toss my bag, toss my hot sauce in my bag.
Nowadays, I am a YouTuber, recording artist, dancer still, podcaster. I have experience in acting. I have experience in modeling. I do just a bit of everything except for play an instrument. Yeah, I haven't picked that up yet. So, how did I get into music? Well, like I said, I started out kind of like just dancing or whatever. But after a while, I got tired of dancing to other people's music and I kind of wanted to start making my own. So I kind of took the route that was easiest for me, which was to kind of do comedic music, little parodies here and there, whatever. Parodies that never really saw the light of day, except for maybe my first YouTube video, which was the parody of Problem by Ariana Grande that I did for a school project. Okay, that was probably the only one that ever actually released. But I kind of wanted to do something that wasn't really for school, just kind of like something to do me or whatever. And that basically manifested into what is now my most popular video on YouTube, Pet That Weave. After Pet That Weave kind of grew in popularity, I was known for my alter ego, Cash Monet, because that's who Pet That Weave is by, not necessarily me, Dionte, but Cash Monet. And the thing was, even though I had become a little more bold, I was still sort of shy, So I was kind of using Cash Monet as a little bit of a blanket, So I figured if people didn't like her music, then it would be okay. Because I'd be like, well, Cash Monet is just a character anyway. It's not really me. But after a while, people didn't really take me seriously as an artist, and I wanted to prove that I could do music as myself too. I could do music as Dionte. So I wrote what was my first single as myself, Hakuna Matata.
I'ma chill too, Hakuna Matata, but fuck with me and now fuck your father. Get the ring, then become your mother. Get divorced, then take all your dollars.
So you're probably wondering, oh, if you were so shy, how did you start getting into music and performing and stuff? Well, I guess you can just kind of say it ran in my blood. I come from a very musically inclined family. My grandfather was in a band, my grandmother was in a girl group, and both my mom and aunt were singers and dancers, and then I guess that kind of trickled on down to me, and now I kind of, of course me and my siblings, we all come from the same mother, but I'm the oldest, so they all look up to me, so when they see me performing and stuff like that, now they kind of do the same thing, they're really following in my footsteps. So I write all of my own lyrics, okay? I take pride in that. I write all of my own lyrics. And until recently, I had been producing all of my own tracks as well. But thank God, I finally found a producer who can kind of do that for me. So it cuts my workload in half, because let me tell you, producing tracks is hard. Okay, that is really, really hard. But now that I have someone who can kind of produce for me, I can just focus on the lyrics themselves, and I just kind of add my input for the music. Because like, I know how I want the songs to sound in my head, but when it comes to actually producing them and making them a reality, that stuff is, ugh, you know? So my friend BJ, he is my producer, and he's currently helping me with my album Dear Diary, which is, I hope, to drop by spring 2019. But yes, he's been helping me with that. So now let's get into the rehearsal process for this launch event that I had mentioned earlier. So I am currently a part of an upcoming nonprofit known as the I.N.D.E.P.E.N.D.E.N.T project. And they basically take high school and college students and link them with industry professionals who then mentor them and kind of guide them in the direction that they need to go in to be able to break through their desired career path or whatever. So the I.N.D.E.P.E.N.D.E.N.T project is currently hosting this launch event in December, on December 15th. And that's where basically all of us students will be talking about our respective career paths and displaying all of our work. So within the project, there's Kyla, the fashion designer. There's her brother Jonelle, the actor, who is also a student here at UArts. There's Angel, the film director. There's Cassie, the podcaster, fellow podcaster, you know. And then you have me, the recording artist. So, like I said, we're all going to be kind of like displaying what it is that we do. So me being the recording artist, I will be performing. I'll be putting on a show, showing the investors my music. I've pretty much been preparing for this for a couple weeks, like to about a month. I have been preparing my set, making sure I perform all the right songs, making sure all my choreography is together.
I haven't been able to make it to the studio, but I need to practice rehearsing in my heels. So that's exactly what we're about to do.
It's nerve-wracking because I know that I'm not necessarily performing for my peers. Like, I'm also performing for industry professionals and investors. So these are all people that are putting money into this project. And the first thing I had to do was make sure that all of the songs that I'm performing aren't explicit. Because, you know, professionals, you know? That kind of cut my discography in half and gave me like a small pool of songs to really work with. And then I also had to make sure I didn't go over my time limit. You know, I want to perform enough songs for these investors to be able to get the gist of who I am as an artist and what I do, but this is also an event. I gotta make sure I stay on time with my set, you know? So far, I plan on performing 5 songs. I plan on performing C.O.C.K.Y, which is the lead single from my first album, Dionté Volume 1.
C.O.C.K.Y, girl, I know I'm fly, that's why I'm so cocky.
I plan on performing Hit the Floor, which is the main party track from my first mixtape, Coronation.
Eyes on me when I hit the floor. Pull them to the side, make them want a little more. All eyes on me when I hit the floor.
Then there's Red Light, which is the single from my EP that I just dropped a couple months ago, Indigo.
Come correct and get the red light.
Then there's the aforementioned Hakuna Matata, which was my first single as myself.
I'm living my life, Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata.
And then, of course, I have to end it where it all started by performing Pet Dat Weave. But I'm not putting on a wig and all that for this performance. So I will be performing the remix of Pet Dat Weave featuring me as myself. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to that because it's a whole vibe.
It's a new gay rapper on the scene, on the map. Been a while since it happened. Been fist for the slate. If you cook me, bitch, it's your beef, I'm snatching.
Another thing that I am struggling with is whether or not I want to incorporate backup dancers. Because in the past, things have always gone either way with backup dancers. It's either going really great, or terribly wrong. But no matter which way it goes, I always feel more confident when I kind of have my dancers like behind me, like backing me up. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but it's like a mental thing. I don't know. However, I have done performances in the past where it's just been by myself. But of course, for those performances, I had to put in a little more effort. You know, I had to go a little more out as far as choreography and stuff. But, you know, that's expected. The thing is, with this one, this is going to be like my longest performance to date. And I don't want to go too hard on choreography and stuff and end up being out of breath and not being able to carry the performance through, which is another reason why I've been like rehearsing, trying to make sure that everything is good and well, trying to make sure that my backing vocals are loud where they need to be and low where they need to be, you know, because no one likes to rely on a backing track, especially me. But most rappers who have backing tracks, they're not doing all the extraness. They're not performing. They're not dancing. They're simply rapping with a mic in their hand. Another thing with the dancers is the fact that even though I have been working on this for like a couple weeks to like a month now, like I really haven't had the time to like recruit dancers, and it's like I don't want to risk things going left and my dancers not having enough time to actually learn the choreography and like learn it full straight through. That's another reason why I've been stressing. I've been stressing! But it's okay though, because that is why I am meeting with my mentor this weekend to rehearse and make sure that everything goes okay as far as my set, choreography, etc., etc.